Hey there, viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Studio Series Gamer Edition Barricade. Now, if you remember the first Decepticon campaign of War for Cybertron, this guy was actually one of the playable characters, along with Megatron and Brawl. And while Brawl and Megatron have had figures in the past, Megatron being in the last class back in the first generation's toy line, and also soon to be getting a Voyager figure in Studio Series very soon, as of the time of recording, and Brawl getting a figure in the full Cybertron toy line. Not sure if Brawl's going to be getting a Gamer Edition figure though. I do hope so though. This is actually Barricade's first ever figure. Yes, this is the first ever toy of War for Cybertron Barricade. So yeah. This means that we could potentially get other figures of non-toy characters like Jetfire or... well, I can't really think of any other characters off the top of my head, but seeing how they're pretty early in the Gamer Edition toy line so far, as of the time of recording, this has been pretty excited because there's a lot of non-toy game characters that I think would be pretty cool as figures, like the two Spider Tank characters from Earth Wars. But well, moving on to this guy's box. Of course, we got the standard Studio Series box, plus the Gamer Edition, Silver. So here we got a picture of Barricade. Of course, War for Cybertron. Number 2 in the Gamer Edition subline. The side we got a picture of his face with that weird slits in the eyes that make it look like he's crying. To the side we got a picture of Barricade. Got the D-pad symbol there. The back we've got them in both modes. Video game inspired. Here it says Dark Energon, which is a pretty major plot point if I remember correctly. Got the included backdrop, and it says what he does in the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. Of course, we've got the faux backdrop, we don't need that. And for the actual backdrop, well, we got this setting. Of course, it's been a while since I played the game, so I can't remember what this is from. Yeah, I know. I really need to play the game again, but again, this looks really cool. If I say cool a lot, I apologize. And yeah, Barricade's not going to fit this in the vehicle mode, so we'll come back to this at the end of the review when this guy's in robot mode. And while moving on to the vehicle mode, well, of course, this is pretty much how he looked in the game, because in War for Cybertron, Barricade wasn't really a police car like he normally is. He was just this really cool-looking, I guess, armored car. And I say that because we got these spikes here. Point is, he's not a police car in War for Cybertron, because there's no sirens, there's no police marking, because, well, it's on Cybertron, so... But I still love how this looks. But yeah, just looking at the details, of course we've got the spikes, which I just love how that looks. Of course, we've got the details on the headlights here, which are molded really well. Here we've got, well, the Decepticon insignia is the movie-verse one, because it's got the rhombus eyes instead of the triangle eyes. I'm not sure what kind of Decepticon insignia Barricade had in the game, so I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but got the side here. The wheels are just standard mushroom pegged ones instead of the pinned ones that Bumblebee had, so yeah, it doesn't really roll as well as Bumblebee did. Top, we got some nice, well, we got more of that molded detailing here. In the back, we've got this boosted detailing, which I really like. So underneath, you can pretty much just see his feet here. And, well, we got my first complaint, and I think this is more just of my copy. One of the tabs is bad, so I can't really fully tap it in. Again, this is probably my copy. This is probably, in fact, this is probably actually my fault. I probably just accidentally bent that while transforming him, so this is more of a word of caution. Just be careful when trying to tab this entire section in. I could probably bend that back in with like a hairdryer or something, but that's the thing. I don't have a hairdryer. So, yeah, I'm just gonna have to live with this for now. Another complaint, or I guess this is like a minor gripe. If you remember Barricade's design in the game, his wheels had this really cool purple hue on them, which I feel is kind of replicated better with Siege Barricade, even though that's more just a Decepticon-style prowl. Whereas this, the actual version of Barricade is meant to have the purple-hued wheels. He doesn't have them. I mean, it's probably not that because, like, budget reasons, because they'd have to, like, paint the actual thing on. But it's still sort of disappointing because, like, I just liked that detail, okay? And the wheels just look kind of, the wheels look kind of bland about it on, so, yeah. But anyway, let's move on to the accessory, and unlike Bumblebee, who came with 3 weapons, this guy only comes with the one, which is this gun here. And that could just go into this square peg right here. So, yeah. At least it has blast finger compatibility, though, it seems. Nope. Well, if you push it on, then it seems like you have to force it on, but that might stress the blast effect, so, be careful. So, I put like an asterisk. I'll put an asterisk next to blast effect compatibility. As you sort of have to like wedge it on there. So, yeah, there you go. But well, that's pretty much all I have to say about the vehicle mode. Overall, I think it looks really nice. Although I do wish it did. I do wish that it had the purple hue on the wheels. If Takara was still doing the different paint jobs, I think they'd probably do that. Although they're probably just going to release this guy with the same deco when they eventually release this guy. Yeah, don't you just miss when Takara did different paint jobs? Oh well. Let's just move on to the robot mode for this guy. And well, to start that off, well, we're just going to take the back of the car and tap that. And just move that to the back. And tap the arms. move up the shoulder. Do that with the other arm, so just untap that from the side, and then move the shoulder up. Move these panels down. Rotate the waist around. Untap these. Move the front wheels around on these armatures, and actually rotate the wheels around like so. So move the armatures around, and then move the wheel around so it's like this. Or don't, you can just leave the wheels down. It's your choice. But the official transformation says to move the wheels up like this. So move up the actual armature containing this wheel section. Then rotate the wheel section around so it's facing forward like this. Move the feet down. Split the legs. Rotate around the forearm. Open it. Get the wrist down. Just rotate all that around. And this one, seeing how, well, if you remember Bumblebee, this has also got that arm gimmick. So, yeah, just rotate that, open it, get the hand out, close that, rotate the hand around, and just move that to the back however you want. And well, here we have Barricade in robot mode. And thankfully, that's not as fiddly as Bumblebee's transformation. That's way more simpler. However, I find that a bit more boring. Bumblebee's transformation is more fiddly, but it's way more fun to do. Whereas with Barricade, it's easier, but yeah, it's kind of boring. There's still some fun elements, like how the wheels transform, but overall, it's just your standard average run-of-the-mill style of transformation. There's no surprises aside from how these wheels transform. So, yeah. But the resulting robot mode, well, it's definitely how Barricade looks in the game. So, yeah. And we're just having a 360 of him. Oh, he has no heels. We'll come back to that. Looking at the head, at least they captured the crying look pretty well. If you can see that. Still don't know why they designed his eyes like that. But yeah, that's quite an accurate head sculpt. And before we move on to the weapon, let's just address this. It's really easy to knock him over. Because this guy does not have any heels. None. So you better hope that you got this guy standing pretty well, because otherwise, this guy's going to be falling over non-stop. Almost like he's had too much Energon to drink. And honestly, I think that's one of my biggest gripes with this figure, is just this guy can just tumble over way too easily. I mean, the way that I have him standing right now, he stands really fine, but it can be hard to pose this guy sometimes without him falling over. And worse, I didn't mention this with Bumblebee, but I don't see a port stand on this guy. Meaning, yeah, you can't really use a stand to help this guy pose either, unless you have like the claw attachment. So yeah, but that's not the only reason why posing this guy kind of sucks. But we'll get there soon. For now, let's talk about how this guy uses his gun. And if you remember Bumblebee, you have to rip off his arm and then attach this on instead. And with Barricade, I'm pleased to say, it's the same thing. So you take off Barricade's arm, and you attach on the gun. I am pretty sure most, if not all, War for Cybertron Gamer Edition figures are going to do this, because, of course, the gun's transformed from the arm in the game, so this just replicates this. And, well, of course, then you're left with this arm just hanging about. However, unlike Bumblebee, which didn't have a spot to put it, I actually found that with this peg here and with this bit here, and I'm pretty sure they did not intend this, you can actually just put the arm right on the back here. So you can actually store Barricade's arm right on the back if you want to display him with the gun arm. Now, I am fairly certain this was not intentional because, well, it's staying on pretty well right now, but sometimes it's a loose connection. So I am fairly certain that's not intentional, but I still think it's really neat. Like, the arm storage for Optimus is definitely intentional, but for this, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. This is more intended for the gun, which I might as well just show right now. So if we can just attach it on the arm, if I can stop dropping it. There we go. So you would just attach on the gun like so, and that's the storage of the gun. So, yeah. And of course you can plug in blast effects to the gun. However, if you look at the underneath, there seems to be what looks like ports there, so... Yes, this guy can actually do laser feet. Now, just before we move on to the posability, how does he scale with Bumblebee? Well, this is actually one of the bigger deluxe figures, which I think is actually really cool. So, yeah. Now, finally, let's move on to the articulation. And I feel this guy kind of drops the ball with the posability as well. The heads, well, he can look up and down and side to side, but that's basically it. The arms, well, if we move this out the way, then they can move. He can't even T-pose out. This guy can't even T-pose that well. Got bicep swivel. Elbows up to there. Wrist swivel, of course, as you saw. Waist swivel. Legs can't even go forward unless you move it out a little bit. Back up about that far. Splits up to there. Got a knee up to there. Swivel. Foot can move up. And once again, no ankle pivot. Like, come on. What's those the War for Cybertron dudes and not being able to move their ankles? At least Bumblebee had some better articulation in other spots, but this guy feels like he was designed in 2010, just with the articulation, but come on, this is 2023. We've got figures with really good posability. Like, you know what? Let's just move on. How did you look with the backdrop? Well, not that bad, actually. So, you know what? Let's just end this off here. So, complaints? Well, of course, the articulation is not that good. My copy's got a weird tab issue thing, which is probably my fault. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm sorry, it's really warm today and my brain is just absolutely fried. The transformation is just extremely basic, not what you expect in the studio series. Like, not as basic as that satellite Soundwave, but still quite basic. Almost what you'd expect for like a... Well, compared to Bumblebee, yeah, this is really basic. So, yeah, what... So, do I recommend this figure? I mean, for the first figure of War for Cybertron Barricade, I'd say if you really want him, then sure. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Bumblebee over this guy. But if you're trying to like collect all the War for Cybertron Studio Series guys, then I say maybe get this guy last. Cause yeah, this guy is kind of like poor articulation. The transformation kind of sucks in my opinion, just with how basic it is. The tabs seem kind of fragile. And honestly, if this guy had some better posability, I could at least rank it higher, but yeah, I definitely much prefer Bumblebee. And for Optimus, well, as of the time of recording, I don't have him yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be the best out of the free release so far. But at least with Barricade being released, there's promises of other, so far, game-exclusive characters possibly getting new figures, so who knows what the future will bring. But yeah, this guy, kinda cruddy in my opinion. So yeah, this has been my review on Gamer Edition Barricade, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.